How's it going, everybody? Cue music. So glad to be back with you guys. It's been a week, actually 2 weeks, since we spoke together, since we spent some time talking about our lovely console, or sound, or other stuff that you guys like to talk about here on the chat. Make sure to say hi. Make sure to say where you guys from. I'm from Montreal, Canada, and I'm having a lot of fun with you guys knowing that you're watching all over the world. This is really almost a surreal experience to me to know that you guys are watching from all over the place. I'm talking about down under. I'm talking about like everywhere. Sorry. Hello from Switzerland. Hello from Canada. Just making sure that I have my troll remote. If anybody in the chat is not having fun with us or is not on the same page with us, I can ban them really quickly with my phone. Hello, Texas. Hello, the Netherlands. Charlie, Joshua, I would say Jeddo. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure about the pronunciation on that one. Really sorry. How was your weekend, guys? Actually, how was your last 2 weeks? Because I've been out. I was on another event last Monday. I was working, like, you know, I have to pay the bill so I can afford to have one of these beautiful console and the video gear. And you guys have no idea how much money. It's not a brag. It's how much does it cost to make a YouTube run half decently like we're doing right now. Rolf, good to see you, my friend. Always fun to have you around. One of the most regular, longest time viewer of the channel. Thank you very much, Rolf, for being with us again. Pancho is also a regular. What's up? How was your week? Me? Okay, let's go. Let's go into something. Usually, hold on. Coffee is hitting hard today. Woo! Andy, what's up? Good to have you back. Okay, this week I had the pinnacle of my career of a YouTuber. Meaning, I'll be careful what I say here. Somebody contacted me this week and I was not really sure if it was a prank call or something that made sense. And the more and more I go further into that adventure, the more and more it becomes through. This is a little bit unusual, but it became through. And, you know, things are just stacking up and makes more sense and more sense. Somebody that I will not give out his name for now asked me to come down to LA in his studio to set up a wing, make sure that the integration with his DAW, which is Cubase, is running fine. He's gonna ask me a lot, you know, of control stuff, setup stuff. We're gonna set up some sound, but I want to also make sure that he knows his way around the wing. His engineers know his way around the wing, and they can be, you know, free to go on their own, and they have the knowledge to move that. So at first, when somebody asked me if he could fly me to LA, I pretty much said, well, okay, sure, but I doubt, you know, budget-wise, it's not a good financial decision for everybody, but I guess if he can afford it and he wants to, he could, and I just got my plane tickets and my hotel reservations, so to me, it seems to be more and more through every day, but to me, it feels a little bit surreal. But guys, why I'm saying this to you, so you will eventually see a vlog of that event happening. I asked the person in question if it was fine for me to bring the GoPro and record a vlog of what we're going to be doing. And I will try to bring you guys along as much as I can, in the sense of I want to do a long vlog on this one. It will be my first time in LA. If anybody on the chat or watching the live stream is from LA and want to catch up for a drink, I will have a day off. I scheduled a day off in LA so I can, enjoy some time there. Never been there. It's going to be the first time in my life I got to go to LA. Probably not the last one. It's planned to go a little more, but we'll see. You never know what life's going to give you. In a positive way. That said, before I go to LA in the next week, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. Before I go to LA in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be here with you guys in the chat, and I want to know what's your question are about the wing. If we're 5 minutes in, usually this is where we start to answer question. Same setup here, Cubase and other. Okay, I want to ask you guys then, what are the roadblock that you guys face integrating with Cubase? Because I never really worked with Cubase. Well, actually I did, but I believe it was Cubase 5 or 4LE. Cubase 4LE. I used to run that when I graduated from tech school. It probably has changed a little bit since then. I think we're up to 14 or 12 now. It's a totally different game. I just don't know anything about that. So, do you guys face any challenge with the wing? Because my ideal setup with the console is to have basically 2-layer. One that is going to be doing sound. So I'm going to have 24 channel mono inserted into his Cubase, so we will have the user signal used to use the DSP of the console. Then I'm gonna flip into DAW mode, and we will have access to the fader, basically to control the DAW from the console. But I want to use sound, preamp, and converter of the wing. 16 input will be probably fine for a small studio. The 8 local preamp. I know he has a couple of Neve preamp that we're gonna hook to the back of the console, and I believe a DL16. He said, we'll see. Once I get there, I will figure out some stuff. But I want to know, DAW wise, did you guys face any roadblock? Is there any tricks that you need to have? Any plugins that you need to run on the Mac to make sure that everything is working? Do you need, to install stuff like Jack? Do you need to install other stuff? Let me know in the comments here, or comments. Well, if you're watching in playback, in the comments. If not, in chat. Nothing here. Everything was working fine with Pro Tools, the Cubase 12, Pro Tools 12. Pro Tools is a different game. That I know. I used to work a little bit on Pro Tool last winter, and yeah, different game, totally. So you guys telling me that it's basically plug and play. I just hook my USB from the back. It's going to be my remote control, sound interface, and the wing's going to sound as good as it sounds. If that's the target, well, it's going to be easy. I'm probably going to be done there in a day. Probably will have time to do a record with those guys at that point, because the wing, as complicated as the wing is, it's not, it's not that hard to use. Once you figure out some key stuff, like what is a source, what is the routing that you want to have, it's not, if you know how to do sound a little bit, it's fine. Hey, Dream Hamster Production. That's Rob, right? It's Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the wonderful, the only, the one, Patrick Gilles Maillot to the channel. Bonjour Patrick, bienvenue avec nous. If you guys have never seen Patrick's stuff, go take a look at his website, x32ram.com, x32ram.com. He's got some wonderful software that you can integrate with your wing. If you are running on Windows, right? I don't think Patrick is using Mac, and I don't think his software are designed for Mac, especially with the new Mac M1 that are being released right now. It's a different architecture. I don't think his stuff is all there. Stratos, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, Rob it is. What's up, Rob? It's been a long time. You've been away. We missed you. I hope you're feeling better, because the last time we spoke, you were sick. So I hope you're good. You're doing good. Also, Patrick, are you releasing software for Linux? This is a serious question, because I know there are some, not a lot of people, but I know there's some people that do sound on Linux. I heard, and I tried it, and it was more of a nightmare than anything else. Honestly, I hope I'm never going to have a problem with that, but running sound on Mac, the old environment, the old architecture, I don't mean the architecture. I mean the old environment, the product that are offered, and the integration. If you have a good match, meaning a good firmware, software, macOS release with the good plugin, and you don't update as soon as you can to the latest version, usually it's worked just fine. It's awesome on Mac. I know on Linux it's also working. I know there's a version of Reaper that is available on Linux. I know some people have done some crazy stuff on Reaper in Linux with Raspberry Pi. I don't remember the name of the channel, but there's a guy on YouTube that wanted to record a full album using only a Raspberry Pi and a touchscreen, I believe, like a really minimalist setup. Curious to see that. Oh, you... But yeah, it's usually it's a fun experience to run Linux on stuff. I'm comfortable enough with computer that I can run Linux without too much of a headache. I'm really happy with my Mac world of my iPad, my iPhone, my computers all connecting together. I'll give it the point to Mac, but it's a different story at all. Wing-wise, it's all the same. I mean, do we need a driver for Linux? You guys can teach me. Do we need a driver for Linux stuff? I don't know. Okay, let me catch up with the chat while Rob is bugging Patrick to have Mac version of his software. If you ever do that, Patrick, I will be a happy guy, because I need to run... Actually, tomorrow, I'm going to start working on a new production for a show where we're going to mix up a lot of things, a lot of sound effect, video. That's all going to be triggered with a laptop, or maybe I'm thinking about bringing the Wing with me and just that, and do all the sound and triggering from my pad like I'm doing right now, running an OBS session and do some stuff on a huge screen behind a pen, and also running some cues and ambient stuff with that. So it's an idea. It's an idea that I have. We'll see what's happening with that. I'm going to start working on a project tomorrow, so we'll see. Okay, Joshua. Would you use plugin on the Wing that you print permanently on the track, the DAW in a studio setting? The answer is I would not do it. I know some people would do it, or I would say, in most cases, I would not do it, but sometimes you can. Hear me out. If I have a plugin in a computer, not on the Wing, I could see myself inserting it, playing around with it, and not being a destructive in the sense of do not commit 100% to it on the recording. If I'm in the minding of doing a quick session from the Wing, taking my channel strip, working on, having a bass drum, but maybe not a gate. If I were to burn the tape or to print the tape or recording with the effect, I would not use a gate on the kick, but I would use probably an EQ to get rid of some stuff, I would use probably not that compressor, something more like the 11, not the 1176, using a DBX 160, and that would be it. Maybe I would compress a little bit and low cut my this is a feature that I would like to have. I want to have access to the low cut here in the bottom. There's some space. I can have access to low cut and high cut here, and I want a reset button here, please, on the EQ. Please, I want that. But the question is, would you do that? Yes, I would definitely use a low cut if needed. Maybe not on the kick, maybe something like around 30, 40 hertz. But if I were to record vocal, I would probably, do I have a vocal track? No, I don't. Just for fun, let's create a vocal track. If I were to create a vocal track for a studio session, I would first put an input there, use a low cut, probably in the safe space around 100, 110. Compressor, no stressor is a good choice of mine. I love it. After that, do we have anything that we would like to put? Maybe not a gate, but maybe a source extractor set really low with a depth of like 12 dB, just to cut down on the noise, if anything, but keeping the braiding noise just a little bit. But yeah, I would definitely track down with that, just a little bit of source extractor just to cut down and not go too heavy on the compression. If you really want to go heavy on the compression, then on the second insert, I would insert something else like, I don't know, what the option do we have? Give me a compressor. Maybe not the channel, or yeah, maybe the channel strip. Let's use a channel strip. What compressor would we want to have? The even channel? Yeah, we could use the even channel. Having that, not use the gate, maybe re-EQ after the first step of compression, because we will have one EQ here, compression. Now in the insert block we have compression here. After that, having a little bit more compression to that vocal, just to really tighten it down and have some, really fat, juicy wave track to work with. But that will be a full-on commitment to the change that you did. And in a extreme situation. Most case, I would not use the, sorry guys. Most case, I would not use the second insert. Maybe just a trim down on the EQ. Maybe if there's some stuff that you would like to get rid of before tracking, and a little bit of compression. Yes, you could track with that, but in doubt, just track as dry as you can. Just use the preamp and don't care about anything else. Just do everything in post, because after the fact, after the tracking, what you could do is insert your console, and I will have a video about that one day, I swear, how to insert a console channel strip into your DAW, and you work from there. Meaning that you don't work with the live performance, you take a track from your DAW, you send it back into the console, send the output of the channel through a user signal out into your DAW track, and from there, from the console channel, from the DAW, you can play around with the plugins that you have. And this is a non-destructive in the sense of it will not print what you're doing with the EQ and compression straight to the track. You can always come back and change it if needed. I hope that answered your question, Joshua. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Rob, Linux doesn't need any driver for the X32 Wing XR MR18 and the Flow 8. The Flow 8 is a console that I should definitely look at. I'm gonna need one really soon. Actually, I would need one for Friday. If anybody in Canada has one in stock, let me know. I would need one for Friday. I need to do a really small setup, 2 microphone, ambient music, 2 small speaker on sticks. So yeah, definitely something that you can do print with plugin for some project, but in doubt, if somebody else is gonna work on that record, don't. Just don't do that. But you can save some time and just work some stuff into the thing that you're gonna print to your DAW. Printing meaning applying all the effect into the source, modifying the original source of the preamp into your DAW. Stratos. At the user-defined menus, there's a function called fader start. Does anyone know what that function stands for? I believe we would need to ask Patrick about that. He will have probably a better answer than I do. Probably the fader start, and I could be wrong here. I have no idea what it is for sure, but I believe it will do something like it would have something to do with the recording on the USB and on the card. Let's go take a look. I'm just gonna change my layer here, and we're gonna come down here. Fader start. You can assign that to a fader. Let's use my channel 1. You can set the GPIO for fader start. Okay. Typically used in studio. Fader start external machine via GPIO. So okay. Is it only bound to GPIO? That's my other question, because I could definitely see myself using that to start backing track on a laptop. If anybody can have an answer for that. When you assign this function, you can see the fader value. Okay. Let me go back here. When I press down on the physical button here, yes, I can see that. And can I change the... Oh, this one is not working with the jog wheel, but okay. Patrick says it will trigger GPIO as soon as you touch the fader. Okay. Personally, not something that I would use. I see some use case for that, but assigned to a knob, not a button. Okay, hold on. Maybe I did that wrong. Can I... Is there a fader start somewhere? Fader. Yes, it's typically used to start other devices. I know some DJ stuff have that. So when you touch the crossfader in between, it will start CD on the other side. So when you switch on the DJ mixer, it's just changing. But I don't see in the knob option a But it basically has to do with the GPIO. Okay, Joshua, got a really good question here. Can you explain the all-pass filter? It's been a long time. Let's go take a look at the all-pass filter. I believe it's in the EQ. It's in the other section here. Is it the AP90? Is it this one? Maybe I'll be 100% honest here. Maybe I'm not the best one to explain that stuff, but I remember playing around with it and said that I would come back to it. So I know the tilt EQ for sure. Well, the tilt EQ is just this one is bringing back lows, you know, alternating between low and high. You have a 6 dB curve that you can apply here. The maxer, is it like a sonic maximizer? I believe it would be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be a sonic maximizer. It reminds me of the two knob, but I'm not a huge fan, or was a huge fan of the rack version of these things. Just didn't felt the need for it. Some people, but I know, just swear by it because they had a really good time experiencing with the sub response of these units. But I don't know. Never appealed to me. And the all pass filter, I remember somebody like Rob used to tell me some stuff about it, but it's been a really, really long time. And from the top of my head, I'm just going to say no, I cannot explain the all pass filter. I think I did, but I thought I could, but no, I'd rather not step into something that I'm not really 100% sure what I'm talking about. It's a safer, I don't know everything, basically. I just don't know everything about this console. And especially this stuff is fairly uncommon on most console. But thank you, Joshua. Maybe Andy's got some answer for us. I use the AP to set the frequency on the snare to align them up with the overheads microphone. So does it play around with the phase, Andy? Or somebody like usually Rolf is posting in the comment. He's doing a quick Google research while I'm talking here. And he usually posts the right definition in the chat. If you're here, Rolf. Or maybe Rob, if he's still in the chat, can give us some explanation about that. An all-pass filter changed the phase at the crossover frequency. So does it flip the phase? It play around with the phase so you can align the phase more exact than just 180 degrees. So, okay, let's dive into this for a second. Let's say it's basically a 90 degree phase flip or 180 degree phase flip, right? And I have the Q. If I could see the phase on the AQ, yeah, okay. Okay, that I get. But at the crossover point, meaning that, let's say the bottom will be in phase and the top one will be out of phase or will be flipped somewhere between 100 well, at 90 degree or 180. Okay. But it flips at typical frequency. So let's say that I have a problem with a bass guitar that the lower frequencies are in phase, but the higher one do not. So I could use a AP filter and just flip the phase, let's say from 200 to 300 in that area, and I can have the phase flip there. Okay. Okay, I know that the tool exists. I don't need it that much, or this is not something that I use that often. There you go. Thank you, Rolf. All pass filter are filtered to have what we call the flat frequency response, but neither de-emphasis nor de-emphasis any part of the spectrum. It's gradually over the frequency, the frequency crossover. Okay. Rather, it displays the signal in time as a function of frequency. The time displacement accomplished by the all-pass filter is specifically by its phase response. Okay. I can see some use case for this. I would say in 99% of the case of a live show or maybe not on a recording, but on a live show, this is not something. This is really advanced stuff for a live show when you don't need it that much. So Andy's using it on the snare. So when you flip it around 1K, it often clear a lot of the overheads microphone at 90 degrees. So I'm guessing it's gonna phase revert the snare and the overhead. So the relationship between the overhead and the snare the resultant will be a cleaner signal when they are both sending to the same left and right. Okay, I get it, but this is not something. This is really advanced EQ feature that you can definitely get away without needing to do this. When you basically the AP filter would be the next step of EQ. Once you're understanding every single step of EQ and you try to consider the relationship of phase between your mic, this is where you can reach. This is a tool that you can grab out of your toolbox or your EQ to go in there and try to find the right one. But yeah, really advanced stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I am, as much as I understand the need, and this is a really cool advanced feature that you can use, most of the time I do not have time. I have time to get there on a show. Maybe a show where I will do the same band night after night after night. Maybe I can start to play around with this, but I would fix a lot of stuff on a sound check before reaching this to fix this. But it's there. In a studio session, if you're recording or if you're printing to tape, maybe this is something. Sorry guys, maybe this is something that you would use. Hold on. Oh. The thing is, I'm gonna go out on record on this. Most of the time, Monday is the day where I sleep. I just woke up, grabbed a breakfast, and jumped behind the camera. And this is why I'm burping that much, guys. I'll be honest with you here. We're really good at answering question about console altogether, because as you can see, I'm definitely not doing this all by myself. Everybody is helping out here. The sense of community that I feel from you guys is awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. Because it's not all about me, it's all about us all together. Thank you. But the thing is, yeah, I'm gonna burp. Okay, moving on. If you have time and you record a sound check in the evening for the show the next day, you can be so stupid and me and play for 6 hours in the night and with the virtual sound check and playing everything. The thing is, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you would need to reproduce, let's say for the phase filter, you would need to reproduce the exact same setup, because otherwise moving a mic a couple inch one side or the other, or the distance between the overhead, I believe that will play around with the phase response of that. So I don't know your call about this, but usually when I try to fix my stuff, I use delay, not phase most of the time. Or I flip the phase and I delay, or just straight delay to fix all these problems. This is the way I've learned to approach them, but you have to do it again after moving the mic 1 inch. Yeah, okay. So, well, you can be ballpark from a recording and just have to fine tune everything, but yeah, it's not always working. Neve, can we come to LA with you? Sure, LA is a big city if you want to rent your own hotel room. Well, I'm gonna vlog the whole thing. I'm gonna take as much footage as I can. Actually, I'm gonna probably go out today and buy the biggest SD card of 1 terabyte that I can find, or 2 terabyte. I don't know how big they have it now, but I'm gonna bring a huge SD card, and I'm gonna film my whole trip, airport as much as I can, everything as much as I can. And I'm there for work too, so as I will go as comfortable as my new friend slash employer. No, it's not really an employer. It's I will go as deep as I can without being disrespectful to the environment and the person that I will be with the camera, because it's intrusive. It's a really intrusive thing to have somebody with a GoPro filming your face when you're talking. I'm gonna keep it to that. I'm pretty sure I missed some question in the chat today. What did you guys ask me a question and I did not answer it? Post that, copy paste that, post it in the chat so I can make sure that I have answer your question, because I want to do it. This is why we're here. I have a little bit of time left. It's currently 2 p.m. I probably have 25 more minutes. 24 actually. If I could leave by 2:30 would be fine, because I have some really important stuff to do today. Preparing for my next show. I have to go troubleshoot the venue that I'm working at. Apparently they lost their ambient music, and I delayed that a little bit for you guys, but it has to be done today. And I have a bunch of stuff to do. Life is really busy. Good thing. But even for a guy that only has 3 shows this week, I'm full on. I'm going full on about everything. Okay. Seriously, guys, do you have any more questions, or did I forget about something? You guys usually have a really, really good question. Let me go back in the chat if I can. If my wireless keyboard... Yeah, I installed a wireless keyboard. So I can have it not working live on the stream. Okay. Nope, not working. It's fine. I don't want this show to be over, but I need you guys to pump me up some question, because it's really hard to just stand in front of a camera for hours. Okay, V-Tone has got a really good question. What do you use on your main out for your live shows? We're not talking about the live stream that we have now, but I'm going to go quickly over it just so we understand, because it's really, really close. G-Bus compressor, usually on my mix, just a little bit for my live show. You probably saw that in my vlog that I did for 5 Roses, the one when I had the acoustic PA for the first time with the wing. I used the G-Bus just a little bit. Of course, EQ, 8-band full parametric EQ to make sure that the sound system is tuned right. I play some music before the show, EQ everything, make sure that everything... I don't want to color the sound. I want to get rid of the color of the PA. I want the PA to be as flat response as possible and non-aggressive. I don't, it's fun to go out in shows, but if it's aggressive, if it's too loud, it's unpleasant. You don't want that at all costs. You want to avoid that at all costs. So, compressor, sometimes just a little bit, EQ, and if the PA is not loud enough, I will go into a limiter. What I got right now is probably wrong for a live setting. I will be something more, it would be usually something like -18 on the output, because I want to make sure that I don't clip the amplifier, or I would go as loud as I can without clipping the amplifier, and then I would raise the input gain until I compress, or I limit maybe by 1 or 2 dB. But I'd rather have a lot of step of compression and then send that out to the main without compressing it, then putting on a limiter. This is what I try to do as much as possible. So my live main out for a show, it's basically a compressor just to hold back my mix just a tiny bit. As soon as I start to see that needle moving, it's moving too much. As soon as that needle is starting to, like this, on a full band for a full mix, it would be too much compression. You would start to hear it pump, and I don't want that. But I want just to get rid of a little bit of transient. If no one asks question, what your channel strip would be, would you put out on a live stream main? Well, there you go. We just covered that. It's a 2-for-1 question here from Joshua and V-Tone. What do you think of the graphics on the console? We're talking about graphic EQ here, not the visual graphics, I'm gonna guess. The graphic EQ on a console I just don't use. I use the full on parametric. But if we're talking about the visual graphic, the GUI on the console, I love those scratches and stuff like that on the plate. It's fun. It's cool to look at. I like the color also of the console. I was speaking the other day with some people, and apparently the color scheme of the wing has been designed for blind color people. It's the contrast of color is good for colorblind people, not for blind people cannot see colors, of course. But apparently it's good. So if it's not that much appealing to you, but it's helping out others, why not? Herman Bosa, my friend, where have you been? It's been a long time. I feel like it's been a month since I've seen you around. How's it going? Now it's time for the shameless plug. Kiv and Neve and German. I don't know how to speak anymore. Wait a second. Coffee time? Neve, Herman, and some other people here are channel members. They help by supporting the channel, by giving a little bit of money to the channel. It's helping me keep justifying the stuff that I bought and to take some time off of work or delay some work like I'm doing right now to be with you guys. It's also just a matter of showing your support. And I really, really appreciate that, because I could not do this without you guys. You are the reason why I'm doing this, and the feel of community here is good. It feels really good. It feels safe. We don't have a lot of troll around here, and I'm really proud of that. We send them away really fast, and I love that. Thank you very much, guys, for helping me with that. Also, in my mods. Basically, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel. If you are watching this with us live, give this video a like. The more like that we get, the more this video is going to be recommended by the algorithm to YouTube. More people is going to join in, and the bigger I can grow the channel, the more time I can spend on it, because it will not financially make sense, because I don't think YouTube will ever financially make sense to me. But if it can be self-sustaining, meaning if I can upgrade from time to time stuff, camera, paying for my coffee, justifying lights and stuff like that, I would love to do that. Joshua would just send us, I don't know what is 5 CHF. Thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you. If you have any more questions, well, we already answered some of your question, but if you have more question, feel free to drop them in a non-paid post. Franc Suisse. Ooh, thank you very much. That's a lot of money. For my poor Canadian dollar, it's a lot of money. Thank you very much. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. It will be my pleasure to answer them for you. For those of you who need more help and wants to get a one-on-one call with me, I'm available for a one-on-one call. You don't have to fly me to LA for me to understand to understand your setup and help you through your setup. You can just call me over a video conference. I do Zooms call, Facebook, whatever working for you. Could be anything. I was about to say something stupid. Like, could be on OnlyFans if you really want to, but no, we're not going there. Let's just say that if you need help, we can figure out a way to talk to each other. I'm asking $25 USD an hour for private consultation. I'm helping a lot of people, a lot of church in the States, a lot of people even from Australia. I'm helping out as much as I can, and I will fit I will do my best to be on your time zone, or to be up at the time that will fit you in your time zone, wherever you are in the world. And if you want regular help with that, you can become a member, a super member of the channel. Not a member. Member don't have access to video chat, but super member have access to the video chat. 1 hour of free video chat a month with your monthly subscription. So please, 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 if you need help, you want to save some money, become a super member of the channel. I would appreciate that. Okay, now enough with the shameless plug. No, now go back to your questions. Joshua, thank you very much for the $5. Really appreciate it. Joshua with an H this time. Thank you very much. What else? What's happening in the chat? I haven't used mine on a daytime show outside. How clear is it in the sunlight? How clear is the screen in the sunlight? I would say good enough to be used, but under an easy up, it's fine. In the direct sunlight, maybe not. It could be a little brighter in the direct sunlight, but honestly, I never seen any console that is bright enough to be like really good out in the sunlight. It's just, it's really hard to fight the sun when it comes to lighting for camera and for anything. But yeah, I have to go over the screen with my hand to see stuff on it in the direct sunlight. But under a pop-up, under an easy up tent, no problem at all. You will see it like pretty much like you see it right there, with the reflective light around, but it's usable. The answer is it's usable. Michael. Hey, Michael, it's been a long time. Where have you been? Okay, let's say that you want to use a guitar plugin, like the Neural DSP stuff. That is sounding really good, by the way. As an example, using Wing in and out, I assume you need separate channel for the dry input and the USB output. Yes, actually what you would need to do is create a track. So if you want to use guitar plugin like the Neural DSP, you need to send your guitar somehow into your computer. So let's say you're using a DI track, you would need to take that preamp. Hear me out. You don't need to have a channel for that. You can just take a preamp of the console. Let's say we're gonna go something really stupid. Gonna go local in, and you set it up so you can have decent amount of volume going from your guitar. And for visual purposes, we're gonna switch that to channel 8, which is my microphone that I have right there, so you can see some VU meter going. So what you would need to do is take that preamp and go into your output, USB audio. You will take any channel that you want that is unused. You will send that into your DAW, and you're gonna use that as the source for your Neural DSP plugin. Once your plugin is receiving sound from that input, you wanna take the channel from USB. So we're gonna go in source again. We're gonna go USB. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I don't like the way this console is thinking sometimes. Okay. No, that's the good one. It's the source. Yes, the source. Source. Input. Source. You're going to take your DSP and you're going to create a source. Let's say here we have 7 and 8. You're going to take a stereo source, because I'm going to guess your Neural DSP going to give you stereo full on cab simulation with reverb. You want to take that and you want to assign it to a channel. So let's say that we're gonna go channel here 15 or 16. 16 is not used. We're gonna come here, USB, gonna use that channel, unlock the patch, that channel, there we go. If that was your DSP, Neural DSP plugin, you could have it in your console now as a single input. You do not need to waste a channel on setting up a gain level and a source. You can do basically the same thing from the source menu, send that straight into the USB, so you're not using the channel. You just take the preamp, route it through the console out to USB, and assigning to a channel back your neural DSP out. So you don't need to have, a DI track and insert that or whatever. You can just do this. And you will have access to channel 16, which is right there. If I'm doing this, channel 16 ohm. If it was your DSP, you would see some stuff there, but it would be just a stereo channel with basically your guitar. I hope that answered your question, Michael. It would be fun for me to have answered this one. What else? Patrick Stratos found a showed an SD bug that would consider bad implementation for thing. Changing DCA name. DCA name are indeed used in internal tags when assigning channels DCA strip to DCA. Okay, I'll let you guys figure that one out. I probably missed the beginning of that question, so let's go back again. Okay, so Rob's got a video about that. Good. Can you post your video in the chat, Rob? Can you post a link in the YouTube chat? But I don't think you can. Joshua, what's your take? Thank you for the $5 also, Joshua. What's your take on using gate versus source extractor for live mic on talk show, TV show? Definitely using a source extractor, and the reason why is because if I take my channel 40, which is my vocal right now, I'm using the even gate, but it's set to be as an expander. I'm gonna change that to the source extractor. Gotta bring my gain down, my threshold down, threshold down a little bit, but I'm gonna put the depth and fast attack, peak mode. This is really clean. And the difference between gate and a source extractor is the source extractor is actually an expander. Let me bring up the gate, expander gate from the wing to explain that. The difference between a gate and an expander. An expander has a ratio that you set with the threshold to reduce the amount of sound when the threshold is not met. So right now, when I'm not speaking, it's cutting down by 20 dB or 10 dB, almost 20. And I'm gonna raise it till it reaches 20. You can see right now, don't speak, turning the mic down by 20 dB. If I speak just quietly, it's gonna turn as soon as I cross the threshold, or not even. If let's say I'm gonna bring up the threshold just too high, you can still hear me and you will lose some of the stuff that I do, but it's an attenuation, it's not a cut. With a gate, if you have a gate on, it will cut on the signal and not attenuate the signal. It will just full on, and you're missing stuff, like when I say an F, A, you're missing, you feel like, hey, you feel like there's a cut. This is why you want to use expander or source extractor on your source of signal like that, like lavalier mic on a talk show. Guests don't talk. They drop down by 60 dB because you can set the range on that. Basically, it's the same thing as the source extractor. The source extractor is just a different preset of the expander of the wing. But let's say attack fast, release really fast, hold 100 millisecond. Now, this is what I would kind of use on a setup like that, maybe 1 second. And you drop down your threshold until your guest speaking volume is opening up the threshold all the time, but when they stop speaking, it's reduced by 60 dB. So it will be my call. I would use expander or source extractor. Source extractor is just a easier version of the expander. It's just a preset. Basically, you alternate between your threshold. By the way, your threshold here at 0 is actually minus 18. Now it doesn't do anything because I have the depth of 0, and I can bring that down by minus 20 dB, but on the threshold, here would be 0. I'm going to turn that down. Here would be 0 at plus 12, or 0 is minus 12 in those area. Anyway, I don't have enough of background noise, so I can just run something like minus 21, putting the depth all the way to minus 20, so it's going to reduce by minus 20. And this is fast attack, and the kind of algorithm that's going to use RMS or peak. I want to use peak. This is how I feel comfortable using it, but it's basically the same thing as the source extractor. Well, this as an expander. Source extractor and expander is pretty much the same thing. I hope that answered your question. Thank you very much for the $5. What else did I miss on the chat? PSK all the time on Automixer. I don't really use Automixer, so I'll let you guys deal with Rob and Patrick's on that. This is their kind of stuff. Automixer doesn't work for me live. I tried it. Honestly, it's not. For Ben, it's not working. For sometimes conference, it is, but I just use Expander. Cut down on everybody when they don't speak, and that's doing it. But yeah, for a talk show, definitely would use Expander. Actually, this is the reason why I want to make sure that we have a wing at a venue where I'm working. I'm doing a lot of conference and stuff like that there. Never really got over 8 microphone, or if I did, it was wireless microphone, so line output device. I could use 16 of them. Never reached 16 out so far. But I want to get rid of my TF1 eventually to get a wing in there, just to have the extra feature like the source extractor and make my life easy. Definitely something that I recommend. Expander, source extractor. We're talking about Patrick's software failure value. Okay, so you guys are in a totally different topic. I love it. Joshua, thank you very much for confirming that. If you have any more question about the wing, live sound, other situation where you need sound that maybe I can help you out with, feel free to post them in the chat. Right there. No, chat is right. No, right there. Chat is right there for you guys. It's mirrored for me. It's so confusing. Okay. So we've reached the 1 hour mark. If you guys don't have any question, I would try to run out, but if you do have any question, we will answer them today. Today you ran an 11-hour conference for the first time with the wing. Flight case friendly of. Okay, nice. How was it? How was the fan? Did you have any problem with the fan? I know a lot of studio guys. I know a lot of studio guys complain about the fan noise, especially in the conference setup. Maybe it will be problematic. Probably not, because can you guys even hear it now? The wing has been up for like an hour at least now, or 2 hours, because I opened up before the stream. Let's see if we hear the fan. Nope, I don't hear the fan at all. Don't worry about the fan then. My bad. Andy, the fast button, I think, is the release time on his original plugin, and peak is attack. Oh, I thought we're talking about the source extractor here. I thought that the fast was the attack and release, and the peak was the RMS versus peak setting on the detector. Do we have that? No, we don't have that. So maybe you're right. Maybe in a few seconds somebody will post the right answer in the chat, because I don't have to Google these things as we go. You thought that the wing was pretty fast with the shortcuts that you made. What shortcut have you made? Did you just copy paste the channel, or I'm curious to know your stuff. Pancho, yes, I actually need to do a video on DP48. I actually need to put my hand on the DP48 because I had, okay, let's degrade here. I had many years ago a fantasy of running a bunch of X32 cores together and just daisy chain them one into another, have a one stage box going A, and from B port to A port, B port to A port, into like 5 or 6 or 7 X32 cores, so everybody can have their own mix for any mixes. And basically the DP48 fixed that. You can have access to, I believe, compression in gate on every single channel with EQ on every single channel. You can have up to 48 channel, which is a good thing, which is better than the X32 core. So eventually, for some band, I'm probably just gonna set up a couple DP48 and run that for everybody, so they can have access to all the channel, EQ them the way that they want, because they want. If you set up your DP48 right, you can use all raw tracks, so you can EQ for what they want to hear. So let's say that somebody has cheaper or different in-ear plugs than I do, and I'm getting a lot of low end because I'm using most of the time Shure 846. The 846 have a dedicated driver for low end, so usually when you start to crank these lows, they sound really good and really fat. But some people that have cheaper stuff like the 425, which is the in-ear Shure that I hate the most, they don't have any low end in them at all, at low volume. You need to crank them really, really high to get a decent amount of volume going into them. So all that to say, I'm gonna need a DP48 to do some tests, but eventually I want to run them, and I want to give them to some of my friends so they can have a really good mix. Okay. The DP48 is also a great tool when you are a monitor engineer. Can I ask you what's your reasoning here, Andy? What are you thinking about? You can also use on the master HDD and other. Okay. Strato was a copy paste and quick flip because I had 8 different mixes I had to manage. And native speaking translation. Oh, stream, zoom to stream room. Wow. User defined button help a lot. Okay, yeah, I believe you. Okay. Well, on that note, guys, I'm seeing notification popping on my computer. I have some people that really want their stuff to be fixed, and they want me. They want a piece of me. Guys, on that note, I will close the stream for today. Thank you very, very much for being here with us. If you are not subscribed to the channel and you're watching this in playback, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notification when we are doing a live stream. I'm doing a live stream every Monday at 1:30 p.m. New York time. So if you guys want to join in and ask your question and be part of this thing, do so. Until the next one, please go take care of yourself. Stay safe. Love you guys. Thank you for being such a great community. And I see you guys later.